Today, you are going to hear a story about a beautiful young lady named Esther who had great courage. Long ago, Jerusalem was invaded, the city was destroyed, and many Jews were carried away as slaves into Persia. After many years, some of the Jews were allowed to go back, but some stayed in Persia, even though they weren't treated well. The king of Persia was named King Ahasuerus. One time, he held a great feast. He called for his wife to come to the feast, but she did not want to come. This made the king angry, and he sent her away and decided to find a new, more obedient queen.
Hear ye, the king desires a new queen. All beautiful young women are to be brought to the palace immediately. The beautiful girl that pleases the king will become the new queen.
Finally, all the girls are gathered into the palace and dressed for the king. The girls are all presented to the king. After looking over all the maidens, the king makes his choice.
This is an easy one. I choose this one. What is your name, my dear?
My name is Esther. I'm honored to be your queen.
Later that evening, Esther meets with her cousin Mordecai.
Mordecai, did you hear? The king has chosen me to be his queen.
Yes, my child Esther, you have been chosen. But don't forget that you are a Jew. Many people in this country hate the Jews. You must keep it a secret.
I will not tell anyone, not even the king.
Esther becomes the queen and lives in the palace. She is a good person. Later, her cousin comes to warn her of something.
Esther, I overheard two of the king's guards talking. They were plotting to kill the king. You must get word to the king.
Do not worry, I will tell the king.
Esther tells the king of the plot, and this saves his life. The king is grateful to Mordecai and to Esther. The king promotes a man named Haman to be above all the princes in his court.
My name is Haman. I am a great person in the palace, and therefore all the servants must bow down to me. You there, what are you doing? Didn't you hear what I just said?
I will not bow down to you. I know how much you hate the Jews, and you are cruel to my people.
You must bow down to me.
I will not bow down to you.
Haman is so mad that Mordecai won't bow down to him. He decides to punish all the Jews. He thinks of a plan and goes to the king.
King, I have found that some people in our kingdom do not keep all the king's laws. If it pleases you, I will write a decree that they will all be destroyed, both young and old, little children and women, in one day. If you will let me do this, I will pay a large amount of silver unto the king's treasuries.
Everyone should obey the laws.
Alright, do what you think is best.
Haman writes a decree to everyone that on a certain day, all the Jews will be put to death.
Esther, only you can help us. Haman is going to kill all of our people. You must go tell the king.
I want to help, but I do not dare present myself to the king. I'm only allowed to see the king if he asks for me, and I haven't been called to see the king in over 30 days. If I go to see him without him asking for me, he could have me killed.
But you must. Maybe this is why you are the queen at this time, to save our people. You are our only hope.
Okay, I will. Please have everyone fast and pray for me for 3 days. I need the Heavenly Father's help. With everyone's prayers and the Lord's help, I can do this. And if I perish, I perish.
Yes, Esther. All the Jews will fast and pray for you.
After 3 days of fasting and prayer, Esther puts on her finest clothes and enters the king's court. If he is pleased to see her, he would raise his golden scepter, and she would not be killed. She stands in front of King Ahasuerus and waits. She hardly dares to breathe when the king looks up. He sees her and holds out his scepter to her, allowing her to come to him.
Esther, I'm glad to see you. I offer you whatever you want, even if it's half of the kingdom.
Please, let the king and Haman come to a banquet that I have prepared. Then I will tell you what I desire.
Haman was thrilled to be invited to eat with Esther and the king. Servants, I have been invited to eat with the king and queen. Mordecai still refuses to bow down to me. I will not have it. He must show me respect. I order you to build a gallows to hang Mordecai from.
The servants get busy building the gallows, and the king goes to bed for the night. The king cannot sleep. He remembers that Mordecai saved his life.
Royal messenger! I recall a man named Mordecai that saved my life. Was he ever rewarded for this? Nope. Nothing was done for him. At that moment, Haman enters the court, hoping to speak to the king about hanging Mordecai from the newly built gallows. Haman, what should be done for a man that makes the king happy?
Haman smiles because he thinks the king is talking about him.
I think that this person should be dressed in royal clothing and the crown put upon his head. The king's horse should carry him throughout the city with someone shouting to the people how much the king wants to honor him. Great idea! Quickly, Haman, go and get the Jew Mordecai and do all of this for him. Haman was shocked. There was nothing to do but obey. Instead of hanging Mordecai, Haman had to lead him around on the king's horse dressed in royal clothing and shout out wonderful things about him. After escorting Mordecai around, Haman was very upset. He hurried and dressed for the banquet. They all sat down at the banquet. Esther, this food is wonderful, but you still haven't told me what your request.
If it pleases the king, please spare my life and that of my people, for I am a Jew and we are to be slain.
I don't understand. Who wants to kill you or the Jews?
That person is Haman. The decree he had you sign will allow all Jews to be killed. I know a king's decree cannot be changed, but please, allow my people to defend themselves on the terrible day we are to be slaughtered.
What? Haman, you tricked your king! Take him away! Mordecai, I hereby allow the Jews to arm themselves and fight against anyone who tried to harm them. The king was very angry at Haman, and he ended up suffering death on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. Because of the fasting and the prayers of the Jews and Esther's great courage, the king changed the order and the Jews were all saved. And that's the story of Esther, a young girl who had great courage and was able to save her people.